Uranus is blue.
We are sitting here today with the amazing Abioto family in Portland by way of Memphis, Tennessee. They have come to this city to unify the Black community single-handedly. I think that's pretty noble and amazing.
I didn't know we were doing that single-handedly. Yeah.
Well, it's not supposed to be single-handedly. That's the whole idea. But these are some great women. I just got hip to them myself. Friend of mine sent me a link to Intisar Abioto's YouTube page where she has some beautiful music with layers and all this kind of stuff. Like, wow, that's amazing. And I had met Intisar many years ago just on the street, and she's telling me about all these things that she's doing. So I've been in Portland for a year, and I've been searching for the Black people. We don't know where they are. We're searching for each other. We're trying to bring each other together. And the Abiotos have really worked to really try to pull people together, from starting a Facebook page called The Black Portlanders at Facebook, as well as all the other artistic projects that they're doing. So we're going to start out with some music, and when we come back, we're going to talk to these wonderful women about their lives, about their work, and about what their plans are. So stay tuned.
You wanna love me? What did you tell me from the very beginning? I'm not pretty, but I'm worthy. Your words can't change me, but they always do try. From the very beginning, you know, I've been away for a long time. That doesn't mean I don't know who I am. Oh,
So we are back here with, yeah, baby.
What's your garbage?
Oh, it's in the back underneath the thing. That was the youngest of, oh, is she the youngest? Mm-hmm. That is the youngest of the Abioto family. She was looking for the trash can, and we found it for her. So we're sitting here with...
Well, my name is Intisar Abioto. I'm a writer, a photographer, a dancer, a documentarian, an explorer. I love storytelling and people and culture. And I love, I love Portland too. So here I am.
Yeah, that's what's up. And next.
Hey, my name is Hanifa Abioto. I'm a singer, a writer, a novelist, an all-around visual artist, a stylist, and that's what I am, just an all-around artist. So, yeah.
My name's Kalima. I'm an extraordinary person. The kind of extraordinary person that only comes once every 100 million years.
No? Okay. Well, we have four extraordinary women with us today. And it's so interesting because I was having a conversation recently about what it means to be an artist. And, when the audience is watching, they'll see one thing. They'll see you painted a picture or you sang a song. They don't realize that you are dramatizing, you are dancing, you are singing, you are being a comedian, you are, being a speech therapist, you are doing all this kind of stuff. So, do you mind just for a second explaining maybe what your process is or how you emphasize the art that you make?
Yeah, there's a process. There's a process of time, of imagination, of editing, of choosing, of allowing yourself the space to finally be oh, this is okay, I can put this out here. For me, I consider myself both a visual artist and a performance artist. I think that words are also like a visual art with your mind, just the images. Dance is also a visual art, just like on the frame of the mind, just like moving images. And the same thing with photography. I feel like they just flow in and out of each other as both visual and performing arts, and as storytelling. So part of that process for me is improvisational, just feeling what moves me, and through feeling what moves me, feeling what could move others. There's that process. And then there's also just the day-to-day process of just kind of figuring out how you're going to get your work out there. Whether it's online, just kind of figuring out the trappings of social media and how people, communicate today. To just the basic editing of your work to put to put a finished product out there that people can understand within a timely manner.
Do you ever feel like your creativity is limited by the parameters of what you think the audience will be able to digest?
I feel like that all the time, especially in describing myself. I'm an explorer. Oh, I'm a traveler. My mediums are photography, dance, and writing, and other things. Just the whole idea of explaining yourself can sometimes be a whole other art form. And whether it's grant writing or a synopsis or bio. I feel like sometimes you can explain things, but sometimes you just have to go for it and just shock people with what you have. And even kind of shock yourself, where you're not waiting on yourself to put out the perfect material or have the perfect words that flow in all the right ways and describe who you were, are, and could be in the future.
So what drives you? What is the initial process? What is it that makes you want to create? What is it that fuels your creativity?
What fuels my creativity? One, it feels good. It feels good to create. It's what the things I love. I love my family a whole lot. I'm always trying to create something with my family. Like, of course, we, create things individually, but, that. Also, the things I care for. I care for stories. I care for power within people, just like the power of humanity that's within us, to create things. I care about fantasy and magic. And I care about black people. I care about how we exist on this planet, like speaking ourselves into our history, our present, and our future, being bombastic and true. I care about that a whole lot, and that's a whole lot of my process. I mean, I care about everyone, but I feel like that story needs to continue to be told to ourselves, and others need to continue to see ourselves in our own light.
What would you say would be your basic way that a person can experience Intisar?
I think I've been figuring that out over the past few years. I spent a lot of time, or like a lot of the time that I first was in Portland, just learning about business. Like, we opened up like a vegan restaurant downtown, and then kind of like later closed that. So I kind of spent a lot of time in that aspect. And so coming or returning to my art, or just, I'm always doing it, but like, using it in a different fashion. Right now, a lot of my work can be experienced online. Mm-hmm. I was actually thinking about this today. I was thinking about the nature of documentation and storytelling, and that I was thinking that you could be telling a story from the past that happened, but the story that I want people to experience is a story of now as it unfolds. So through the Black Portlander site, whether it's like the Facebook or the website, I want people to engage with the story of now, and through that engage with the story of the future and the past. So these are images that I'm taking of people daily, like people out in community that I see, like on the street and approach. And I want people to engage with each other in the now based on this story. So I guess that's one idea. I really do like to create things online and like for people to experience in that time period online, and then you still have them in the future, and you're publishing them like later in different formats, whether it's like a book or a film.
Right. It's like in film, you save all your stuff.
Yeah.
You might use it over and over again.
Yeah. But yeah, I also dance, so that's a present experience, and like a person to person in the space experience. But yeah, that's me, and every all of us do different things and explore them different ways. Kalima does film, and like Hanifa sings. So it's just the experience of art within a certain time frame, and the audience, if they're there with you, if they're experiencing your art in their home and processing it there. It's just so many different ways to experience art in your body now. Mm-hmm. It's really interesting. It's just so many options. Just like kind of like narrow it down is that's the trick. The thing. Yeah.
So Hanifa, I guess a similar question. How would you describe your process? What drives your art? And then how do you translate it to people?
I feel like I'm sort of a neophyte with some things and still sort of figuring it out in that way. Because I think I'm figuring out that my process comes more from like an artist I guess, standpoint, because I've just started a few days ago planning my next artist series, and that's what like painters and things do. You know what I mean? Like to make it become like a thematic sort of serial sort of thing, and that's been helpful thus far. I wonder if I should care about whether the audience is able to accept it or not, because most things people don't know if they can accept until they've tried it. So I don't know if that's something that I don't know if that's something that right now I can concern myself with in that particular way, because then that'll just, I'm trying not to do anything that's going to make me stop. Mm-hmm. And trying to think about what this whole hordes of people whom I don't know them, I've never seen them before, after the performance, and probably even during the performance, I might not truly see their face, because you know, in the glaze of everything when things are going on. So I don't know if that's something I can find myself caring about. You know, I just hope that people will be able to listen to me and hear something that they can tune into, and that's it. Otherwise, I don't really see the point of trying to cater to an unknown entity.
Right, because everybody's experiencing it differently anyway. Right. And if you try to cater to one thing, then somebody else is going to be pushed outside experience.
Either way, someone's going to be into it or not into it. I don't see how I can really concern myself with that type of situation or those thoughts of, oh, are they going to like this? You know, what are they... You know.
So one of the friends that I had here last week, Dail Chambers, she's a visual artist as well, and we were having this similar conversation. And the idea is, what I've noticed with a lot of the visual artists and probably dancers and even, you know, theater people to a certain extent, is that they do what they do, and then the people figure out what they want to do with it. And in music, it seems to be the opposite. It seems to be that the musicians and people, you know, in the music industry try to think about the audience first, and then they try to put something together in this package that has been set up for them.
Yeah, we were talking about that. Me and Mensa were actually talking about that, about like, you know how now there's this whole weird electronica sound that goes on, da-da-da, you know, that kind of like weird thing for everybody singing like that. And like, so me and Miss we were writing somewhere, and then we were talking about how like some song by like Usher, and he had gone that little route, and it was just weird, you know, because I think of Usher, I'm thinking Confessions Usher. He's like smooth. Now this dude is like singing in all like these ways, and I don't understand what he's talking about. It's like they're trying to change it to like this one particular way of listening to music or type of music that's being heard, but it's weird music anyway. So
and
like,
see, the thing where Usher messed up is he it's like he's too old to be doing that.
See, that's what she was saying.
He came out
that's what she
in
was
the
saying
90s.
too.
He was the voice of that generation. You can't repackage a grown ass man and send him back into the teenage years.
Yeah, just keep him going with his life,
and
his life experience and his art experience. Otherwise, it's like it just
sounds
going
like
back.
a nose job.
Yeah, it's just going backwards.
Yeah,
and and I like Usher, so it's just weird to hear those musical trends.
Mm-hmm.
There is something, 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 there is something. There is is something, there 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 is something.
I think my process is just to get excited about something and dare to do it and then do it. And
Pretty simple.
that's the process.
Do you think about the rest of the world at all?
Yeah. Because sometimes you have to copy off people to get, to where you want to be. And sometimes that's the truth.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, I do sometimes, and then sometimes I don't. Sometimes you just have to, like, if you have a crazy idea, just implement the idea. I think, like, these past 2 years, I've been kind of like in a weird place, in that I haven't really, like, dared to do a lot of things, but I think I'm coming out of the woods, and I'm coming back strong.
You sound like some sports player.
Right.
Coming back from that injury, but I'm about to come back.
I'm coming back strong.
I know.
I'm thinking this time it's gonna be real good.
I know.
I've been watching the other guys in gym, and
Coming back
I
out
think I can get back in there. I can do it.
I've been up my right arm. My right eye got sprained. But yeah,
Yeah, I remember.
excuses. Make smart.
That first time I was just sort of like, yes, and then you started saying it. I was like,
I mean, hey, it's the truth, that's the
Go
thing.
on.
Truth telling is also an art.
Isn't it?
So yeah, that's part of my process.
How do your dreams play into your process, whether in any kind of way, your visions,
Let's see, my dreams, they're really important to my process. I think daydreaming is a big part, just being in that place of not being conscious and, like, letting all the ideas come through and not being afraid of those ideas or those dreams. I think there was a point where I didn't really have a lot of night dreams, but then I just started having a lot of dreams. I think, I don't know, like, dreams fascinate me, but there was a point where I wasn't having a lot of dreams, but I think the idea of the dreams, they influence my artwork.
sometimes I obsess over the words I use to describe myself. Should it be in this order? Should I put writer, dancer, photographer, or dancer, photographer, writer? You know what I mean? Like, what does this matter in the full scheme of things in my day-to-day life, doing all these things, but like how you're, you know, just taught to talk or not taught to talk, or if you need to talk at all, and like from a natural art perspective where people are creating like art out of their lives, versus when you have to come out into the marketplace with your art and like speak about who I am. You know, I'm a photographer, I'm a writer, I'm a dancer, and my process is I study the ways in which we all are exploring all those things, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Versus, like, sometimes when you're in, like, school, academic art, and, you're being taught things, and, and it's great because you're learning processes, new ways to think about things, but also being able to come back to your raw process that doesn't have to do with, I don't know, I feel like it's always a dance or something. Or at least for me, it's a dance. And I'm still learning how to come out with my art in all those voices or tongues. Like, it's a adventure with gnarly turns and dips and stuff. I remember being young and I could close my eyes and forget I was alive.
That's creepy.
And like, I could do this purposefully where I just close my eyes and just go to a place where I would forget I was alive, and then when I open my eyes, I would have to remember I was alive. I didn't have an identity, or in those moments of leaving, I didn't have an identity. The trappings of, oh, I'm 6 or 5, or I'm in my room, or I'm in, whatever. Later, I think that changes as you grow. Now my existence, I'm trying to unlearn my brain. I'm trying to, like, take pieces away that have accumulated now. Whether it's too much time on the internet, or reading too many words, or describing myself in particular fashion so many times that I can't just, that I go there by default. I'm trying to break apart some pieces now to come back to I don't want to say a basic self, but then there's always the flux of having to learn more.
One of my struggles is that because people are listening to me, because people are paying attention to me, I mean, I make my process public. That's part of what the appeal is for my art, is that all the process that I'm going through is public, and then the product is the process. So as I'm putting things out there, I don't want to put things into the world that are going to have a negative vibration and go out into the world and be digested by people in a way that's going to be bad for them. And it gets scary sometimes when I think about the power of the fact that people are listening to me.
Yeah, you know what? I've thought about that like recently, but then I wonder because I don't know. I feel like maybe people are going to pay attention anyway. They're going to listen anyway. When I speak, people listen to me anyway. Like, people pay attention to me anyway. I might as well say what I have to say while they're looking. Or not looking, or I need to say what I have to say what I have to say regardless, they're looking or not, they're not looking. I just say it for me, you know what I mean? Like, I don't really, that's not something I can continue to
care about.
It's just one of those things. It's like, okay, I'm already self-critical, you know what I mean? And getting out of that and being okay with that power, because there is a lot of power in that. And even that I'm discovering for my personal, my selfhood, individuality, God self, etc., like these big convergence of ideas. I feel like I need to trust that whatever I'm getting is not going to be destructive to a mass group of people. And on a whole, I don't know if people even know what they're doing, much less what's good for them. You know what I mean?
And they're looking for direction.
Right, looking for direction. And I'm not saying, I'm some big leader, but maybe I am saying that too. And if I am saying that, then that's okay. And if I don't know, then if I need to know, I'll learn it. The information will come along to me. Like, I don't need to know everything. I don't need to know how to scalp somebody. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't need every piece of information isn't valuable to me. So that's not something I can concern myself with. And plus, there are plenty of other people in the world who do know how to do specific things. Why should I have to know everything? Why not just, use...
I don't have to build my house.
Yeah,
somebody else can do that.
Well, no, not even that. Yeah, well, yeah, actually, yeah, because I mean, yeah, I'm not gonna build. I don't want to build my house, but I know someone else knows how to build a house, and like, it's always simply just an exchange. It may seem to be an exchange of money or otherwise, but it's still. I can't be concerned because if I'm trying to like push through barriers that I've held in my mind, inherited limitations, or whether it be from societal, like family, whatever, etc., your own preconceived notions about yourself. I just don't have time to be wondering whether or not somebody's gonna take this or feel like.
Oh no, go ahead.
What do you have time for?
Me, and I have time, and the ideals that I hold, which I can spend my time making sure that they are of the highest quality. That's the best thing I can do, because I can't. If my ideals aren't high, there's nothing that I can give to anyone else. So that's what I have time for. I have time for me. I have time for advancement, evolution, love, creativity. Those are the things I have time for. But to care about whether or not someone's gonna, think I'm pretty or think I'm, you know what I mean? I'm hot. I don't care. I don't like.
I mean, that seems to be the thing. I can't be concerned.
Well, I can't, because it's a waste, And even like thinking about that's a disease. That's a mental disease. Concerning yourself with things like that you like. Here, why would I sit up in this room with y'all? Then all these people out here driving their cars. Oh my God, is that person gonna like my, outside of the window? Is that person that just drove by in that Volvo gonna like my song? Like, that's tantamount to really what happens. You don't think about it on that level, but it really is like you're to a faceless, unknown person trying to bow down.
Well, I'm thinking about, in relation to that, I'm thinking about that question of existence, and then your original question. Because the nature of the internet is interesting. Well, the nature of being physically present, like knowing yourself and knowing others. But the nature of the internet, or even putting things out on the internet, is about knowing. It should be about knowing yourself, but it's also about, to a certain extent, being known, having a knowledge or a thought or some kind of experience you are inputting for others to experience in their own selves or minds. So the nature of knowing yourself or being known or knowing others, it can really, it's like scale, so much scale, like macro and micro, and like there's myself, and then there's also the experience of that other people are experiencing of what I'm putting out, as opposed to in addition to it's like my experience of them experiencing what I'm putting out, and like all these waves of motion, like who's taking a look at this, if they're getting what I thought they're getting. And also that you can't please everyone, because there's so many different teeny tiny options you can do with now in life, like on these computers, and how you're inputting. If you're using, I don't know, I guess I'm so detail oriented sometimes that I get like, I have to like, no, like I can't push all these buttons.
Yeah, because it is like that. Like, say for example, if there was a vanilla sundae with everything I like on it, if somebody dropped some bananas on it, I'm not touching it, because I don't like bananas. But that's a small thing, even if everything else. And it's like that with art. You know what I mean? Like, it could be one thing. It could be it's a little too red. The paint is a little too red. You don't like it. It's like that. And like, you know what? And I wanted this change. I don't want to say that I'm concerned with, I'm going to change it to this. I am placing my attention upon giving and receiving something of value to people on the whole, and trying to figure out who's gonna like it and why they don't like it. in a big, it as a constant, cranker in my brain, and trying to get someone, because essentially what you're doing when you do that is like you're losing faith in what you're doing, so you're gonna have to eventually try to get someone else to help you. Once you get somebody else to quote unquote help you, they're controlling your shit. And like that, to me, like I don't want that, and I don't want anyone else to even think that about themselves. That's something, you know what I mean, that they can be controlled to that degree by any particular thing. Yeah.
So what about the noise? What do you do to block out the noise?
Well, I don't know if I hear the noise yet. I don't know if I hear the noise yet, so I can't. And to a degree, I'm a little bit of an egocentric person. On a regular type of basis.
You're totally not self-absorbed. Not at all.
No, but like we could be having a conversation, and like if somebody says something that I'm not really feeling, or the conversation's just going nowhere I don't care who it is, I get up and walk away. So many people doing things that people say they should, and I just know it's a lot of unhappy people walking around here, and I've been one of them, and I'm not trying to, you know what I mean? I'm not trying to be that again, and I'm also not trying to accept that lifestyle from anyone else, thinking that they should accept their lifestyle. I don't, that's what I want to convey, is that, like, that's not, look around you and see what's really going on. Are you going to accept this? Yeah.
Bird